Hi everybody, and welcome to this tutorial on the tool called Calendly. You can see we're here at calendly.com. Now what this tool does is it's a meeting/office hour scheduler that is directly connected to your own calendar. And these can be face-to-face meetings, these can be phone call meetings, and they can be online meetings. Through this tool, you can set parameters as you wish throughout your day. So your days and your times during the day are all set by you. Now, as with most tools, there's a free option and there are additional options for pricing. So let me take a look with you at the pricing to show you what we have for options. And I'll preface this by saying I'm using the basic free tool and it has been great for me. So if we scroll down a little bit, you can see that we have the basics, which are free, and you also have essentials and professional and so on. A couple of things to point out here. Under the free version, you do only have one calendar connection per the person that signed up. So if you have your events in multiple calendars, it will only be connected to one. So if that's an issue for you, you might want to look at the essentials. The other thing to keep in mind is that you can only have one active event type. So an event type might be an office hour for students in person, and another one might be over Zoom. So you only have one active event type. And again, this has worked fine for me, but understand you only have one. You can see a few of the other features between the basic and the essentials here. So again, I have used the free account, and it has worked just fine for what I need it for. Now, when you get started with creating your account, it's going to ask you for an email address. It's really important that you use the email address that is connected to your calendar. So for me, I used my work account because that is the calendar I wanted it to check against for conflicts and availability for students. So make sure you're using the email address that is connected to the calendar of your choice. When you put that in, it will ask you to log in, of course. It will also ask you for permission to connect to your calendar. When you do, it will make sure, and it'll tell you that it will not ever allow a conflict to happen, so it won't allow someone to schedule when something is already scheduled at that time, and it will always put new events that were scheduled onto your calendar automatically for you. So that'll all happen automatically once you make that connection. So I'm going to go ahead and log onto my account so I can show you some things in a little more detail. When you created your account, you were probably asked to set your availability for any event. I want you to see that you can always change that and get into more detail by clicking on the availability button at the top here. When you do that, you are able to see your availability that you put in during your setup. Now I want to show you, delete that for a second. This is called working hours. This means that you have a schedule set up that you can call in an event to use this schedule. You could create additional schedules. So let's say some months, maybe you're calling this August and maybe September and October, your schedule changes depending on your work or family or whatever's going on. You can make multiple schedules and then call them to be used for different events, and I'll show you that in just a minute. You can, of course, here change your availability on any given day. You can also do this thing over here called a date override, meaning let's say on Mondays you're 9 to 3 usually, but on this day you want to be more available or less available. You can set those hours and that will override whatever's over here. You may also want to have blocks of time available on certain days. So let's say on Mondays you want to go from 9 to noon, you want to give yourself a lunch break, and then you want to add in an additional block of time. So you can set that, then add an interval, and then you can say, I'm going to be available again from 2 to 4. So the intervals are very easy to set up as well. And it automatically saves for you. I'm going to actually put this back for myself for that particular schedule. Okay, and then again, you can customize this however you would like. Now, if we go back to the home screen here, I want to show you how you would set up an event. Now, when you set up a new event, it's going to ask you a series of questions. So the first is, what kind of event is this? So for me, for students, it's always a one-on-one. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that one as my option. When I do, it's going to ask me for a name and a location. Now, let's say I'm calling this office hours. My location, I have a lot of options here. I can choose an in-person meeting if that's the way you're doing this particular set of office hours. It could be a phone call. It could be over Google Meet. It could be over Zoom. I'm going to choose Zoom for this one. Your description here or your instructions are just whatever it would make sense for this particular event. So I might put in something like this. This is reserved for 30-minute Zoom office hour meetings with students. This is the link to your event. You can customize this if you want, and you can choose a color for it to look like on the home screen. All right, so let me go ahead and choose next and show you we have a few other options. So the first is how many days out can they schedule this? So this is up to you. How many days from the time they log on can they see your calendar for? You can also give a date range, and you can just leave it completely open if you want. The duration of your meeting, again, depends on how what the event is and how long you want that to be. I'm choosing 30 minutes in this particular event. Here's where I mentioned that you can have schedules. So this is the working hours schedule that I mentioned before that we had. But if you had multiple schedules, you could choose whichever one works for you. Or for this event, you can set your custom hours. Let's say for this one event, you want to set something different than you normally do. You could set that here as well. All right, coming on down, you can also give yourself a bit of a buffer between events, so you don't want them back to back to back to back in case they go long. So you might offer a buffer of 15 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever you need before or after the event to give you a breather or to make sure that they aren't running one into the other. A few other additional rules here. You can show increments in, show available start times in the increments of 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and it kind of just shows them different increments on your calendar. This is also a nice feature, scheduling conditions. They cannot schedule within how many hours. So you could give it 24 hours. They have to schedule a time with you longer than 24 hours. I left this at the default of 4 hours. I will get an email telling me someone's scheduled, and that was enough time for me, but that can certainly be changed. You can, I would definitely leave this one checked, automatically detect and show the times in my invitee's time zone, so it shifts the time so they know what time it is on their end, and you'll know what time it is on your end. All right, the next will actually create it for us, and I'm going to just show you one that I already set up so that I don't create a second one. Now, I want to show you that it actually did create that second event for me, but I want to show you it's grayed out because as a part of the basic plan, I only get one of these. So I just wanted to show you that it'll hold them for you, but in the free account, you only get one. This is the one I use in my class. This looks just like what we just looked at together. If I click on this, if I look at what event is this, these are all the same things I showed you before. This is just one I had already set up. And there's my timing, availability down here. So all the same things. If I go back to my home page, I'm going to go ahead and delete this one because I only need one. So I want to show you a couple things. You can copy the link here, and this can be put in your syllabus or on Canvas or anywhere that would make sense for students to look. If I click on share here, you can also see there's a link here that you can add this to, again, Canvas or wherever else you want to put it for your students. I want to show you this as well. This is what the student or whoever is coming to take a look at your page will see. So they see this. I customized it with a picture so they know they're at the right place. It's telling them that you have a 30-minute meeting. Here is my calendar. They can go forward. I think I have this one set at 120 days forward, but again, you could set that. So let's say they want a meeting on September 2nd. They can see, here's my availability. Now, why isn't it showing everything? Because I have something scheduled that day. I have a meeting that day. It looks like from 10 to 12:30. So it is only allowing them to choose times within my time frame that I'm not already booked. So as a student, let's say I pick the 9 a.m. I'm going to go ahead and confirm it. And it's asking me to put in these details. Now I'm going to go ahead and put in my own email address back to myself in another account so that I can show you what's going to happen here. And I like this box too. This please share anything that will help prepare for our meeting. So let me go ahead and put in my information here. Okay, so here's my name and my email address, and I'm going to choose to schedule event. Now, when I do that, it comes up with a confirmation here, and it's telling me a calendar invitation has been sent to your address. And here's what's cool about this. Not only does the student get a confirmation, but two other things happen. An email confirmation comes to me as the owner of the event, and it gets automatically added to my calendar. And it sets up a Zoom link automatically for me. So let me show you all of those things that just happened. So let me pull up let's say in this case, the student's email who made this reservation with me. Okay, here is the email that went to that Gmail account that I set up. It allows me to put it on my calendar if I want. It tells me the day and time, tells me all the information, and as I mentioned, it already creates a Zoom meeting for me, which is incredible. So this is on the student side. Let me show you what came through on my side. So here's the email I got on my side. It says you have a new event. It tells me what day it is all the way up here. It gives me all the information, who just booked this, the name, the email address, the time, and of course that Zoom link. Now I want to also show you it went on my calendar, so let me pull that up. Okay, here's that meeting that was just scheduled right here. The Zoom link is inside of it. All the details are inside of it. And here's that meeting I was mentioning. It does start at 10:30, but remember I put in a buffer of 30 minutes between each meeting, and that's why it wouldn't allow them to choose any earlier than 9:30. So, and it ends at noon, and I had that 30-minute buffer, and so they could have booked at 12:30. So, I did nothing other than set up the event, and everything was actually added for me. So let me show you one other thing back on the Calendly website. Okay, I want to show you that now that a student has come on and asked for an event, an office hour event to be scheduled, I can go under scheduled events, and there it is. There is my scheduled for Friday, September 2nd, and the time. And from here, I can look at the details of it. I can reschedule it if I need to, if something came up, or I can cancel it. When I do this, it allows me to offer a message to them. I'm going to go ahead and say yes, cancel. And what happens here is that not only is it removed, the student gets an email and I get an email telling me that it was removed from the calendar. So all of this is done behind the scenes, which is really amazing and requires so little effort. And that's one of the things I love about it. But the other thing I love about it is for the idea of office hours, it really does make me more available to students. If I set my office hours at, say, Monday and Thursday at these times for the whole semester, they may not ever be able to make those times. But this changes week by week, so what they need or what their availability is, say on week 1 of the semester and week 5, may not be the same on their end, and it may not be the same on mine. So this allows me a lot more flexibility to meet with students when they need to at the time that works for both of us. And it's not a lot of back and forth on, well, what do you have on Thursday or what do you have on Friday? This shows them everything I have available in real time. So if I book a meeting tomorrow for, say, Friday, then those will be blocked out automatically when a student comes on to register for an event or sign up for an event. So I really, really like this tool a lot for giving students more availability, more flexibility, and ease of use. It's very simple to set up. So again, this is called Calendly. You can get to it from Calendly.com, and I would just jump on in with the free account and see if it makes scheduling meetings just a little bit easier for you. Good luck.